Good afternoon and welcome to Concordia Stadium here on the campus of Concordia University, Chicago, as the CUC women's lacrosse team gets set to take on the Titans of Illinois Wesleyan University in a non-conference matchup. Peter Borkowski here on the Cougar Sports Network, joined by Parker Kelly. Parker, this is a CUC team coming off their first win of the season this past Saturday, a double overtime thriller over at Augustana, 9-8. Bryn Beto with the game-winning goal, 2 overtimes in. Kelly Pietrowski had a career day with her 5-goal effort. And Ryan McGee, a season-high 16 saves on the day. This is a Cougars team who's looking to carry that momentum from Saturday into today now, especially considering they started the season off with 2 straight losses.
Yeah, and you got to think that, as you mentioned, that thrilling overtime victory last week, it was a really exciting win for the Cougars. And you got to think that momentum will carry over today. This is only the second all-time meeting between the two teams. This is a very experienced Cougars team as well as a very experienced Titans team, so it should be a fun one here in River Forest.
Well, Parker, you mentioned this is the second all-time meeting between these two teams. Last year was the first, a 16-7 Titan win down at Illinois Wesleyan. That was on March 6th. So the Cougars looking to avenge that loss. Meanwhile, Parker, this is a Titan team who they're struggling so far into the season. 2-6 on the year. They're coming off their worst loss since way back last year on April 10th. It was a 20-1 loss this past Thursday at the number 18 ranked team in the nation, Roanoke. Only one goal scorer for the Titans. They had to use all 3 of their goalies as well. So this is a Titans team who is scrambling, and it looks like a prime position for the Cougars to be able to capitalize on that.
Yeah, and the Cougars, they got to be careful. You know, you mentioned them coming off of that overtime victory last week. Got to be careful that this is an Illinois Wesleyan team who is hungry and is looking for a win. They also have that interim head coach in Brian Kelly wanting to get a win here today for her as well. So it should be fun to see how these two teams square off.
Well, this Illinois Wesleyan team currently riding a 3-game losing streak. So, Parker, I think hungry is the best way to describe this team. They're looking to get back on track. Now, Coach Fran Scott of the Cougars in her second season, looking to win number 2 in a row. But before we get to the game, we're going to send it down to field level now for starting lineups and the national anthem. Then we'll be back here in the booth for today's matchup between the Cougars and the Titans.
Oh, yeah, PL.
Hello, I'm Dr. Russell Don, President of Concordia University Chicago. Thank you for tuning in to today's Cougar Athletics broadcast. We take great pride in the strength of both our athletic and academic programs, which are rooted in our steadfast commitment to Jesus Christ. Dedicated to the liberal arts as a foundation of a high-quality college degree, we believe education should form individuals for service to their neighbors. This makes Concordia Chicago an exciting and fulfilling place to study, work, learn, and grow. Learn more today by visiting cuchicago.edu. Thank you, and go Cougars!
The teams make their way out to the field following the starting lineups and the national anthem. A little over 50 degrees here in River Forest. Slight wind. Forecast is calling for some storms today, so hopefully that doesn't get in the way of today's game between the Cougars and the Titans. CUC going right to left on your screen to start, wearing their all whites with maroon lettering. Meanwhile, Illinois Wesleyan in the green jerseys, gray shorts with gray lettering. They'll be moving left to right to start out. Let's get a sneak peek at these two goalies, however. First for Illinois Wesleyan, it's number 21, Lizzie Reimercheck. On the season, Reimercheck, 8 games played, a little over 297 minutes, 15.75 goals against average, a .480 save percentage as she gets the start today. The first draw game set up. Meanwhile, Parker in net for the Cougars is one of the most dominant goalies in the NAC the past 2 seasons. Ryan McGee, 2 straight first-team All-NAC honors over the last 2 years, and she's coming off a Defensive Player of the Week as well, a season-high 16 saves in that double overtime win against Augustana. So McGee, she's got the hot hand right now, and the Cougars are going to look to ride that against his IWU offense.
Yeah, Ryan McGee has definitely been dominant in goal ever since she stepped foot here in River Forest. As we mentioned before, she's first in the career saves and save percentage. She has been on a tear this season.
Well, while we're talking about McGee, IWU's offense gets right to work. They strike first in the game, take an early 1-0 lead here. 14 and a half minutes to go in the first.
We mentioned Illinois Wesleyan coming in hungry, and no better way to get this game started than getting a goal in the first 30 seconds of the first quarter.
Goal accredited to Mia Fiendak, assisted by Devin Hansen. Goal number 15 on the year for the sophomore midfielder out of St. Charles, Missouri. And now IWU right back on the offensive side of the field. They're looking to keep this pressure high against the Cougars starting off.
It looks like the Cougars have come out in a man-to-man defense, trying to apply a little bit of pressure on Illinois Wesleyan early.
Illinois Wesleyan takes it to the bottom right wing as they move it to X now. Cut to the middle. That pass is knocked around. McGee tried to get a stick on it. However, it rolls around, and picking it up is number 8, Jessica Parker. Parker now tries to work down the sideline. She's getting double teamed. However, that's Sarah Gleason as well as Carly Fountain. Parker, one woman clear, takes it all away, passes it off to her teammate Nina Neas, and now the Cougars go on the offense, coming off a season-high 9 goals in that win against Augustana. Parker, this is a team, they lost 2 of their top 3 scorers from last season in the Cyrus sisters, Emily and Elizabeth, and Coach Fran in our weekly interviews has talked about how this team really needs to find their identity on offense, especially when you lose 2 hot scorers like that.
And it seems that Kelly Piotrowski has really been that person to really step up so far in the season. 10 goals, 10 points. She's been nothing shy of excellent.
Free possession here for Riley Orenstein. Gets the shot off. Save made by Reimercheck. And that's a huge stop for the IWU keeper. Riley Orenstein She was the third player in the top 3 scorers for the Cougars last year. I just mentioned the only returning one of the 3. And she's trying to find her groove a bit, Parker. So far on the year, Ornstein doesn't quite have the scoring touch she did last season. So, again, Coach Scott talking about getting the system to work, and part of that is getting Ornstein those looks, getting her those nice looks at the goal that she's going to be able to capitalize on.
Yeah, they're definitely doing their best to get her the ball more, and she's very dynamic when the ball is in her hands, but she's also found other ways to contribute to the team, and she's been doing excellent at that.
Iwu on the offensive now. Taking it to X is Avery Setzler. Now she's going to look to the middle. Pass caught. However, it's dropped, and now Iwu's going to have to pull it back out. A streaking Annalise Giovanni wasn't able to get a hold of that one. She had an open lane right to McGee. Mishandled the pass. Now whistle blown right at the 30-yard line on the Cougar side. Iwu given possession. Shot clock reset to 60. Now near wing works the Titans. They take it to X. Surveying the field. Now back top right wing. Cutting to the middle. Getting the shot off was Devin Hansen, and right there with the stop was McGee. And Parker, that's such a pivotal thing for really goalies in just about any sport, is getting that early stop. It's kind of like when you give a short screen pass to a QB in an NFL game, giving them that confidence that they're going to be able to play well. Getting that early stop is going to build up their morale for the rest of the game.
Right, and sometimes it doesn't matter how long you've been a part of this Cougars team. You always have a little bit of nerves early, so getting that first save goes a long way as the game continues to go on.
Now here's a shot from the middle. That one finds the back of the net. Out of the stick of Carly Fountain, the freshman out of Orland Park. Strike, so Illinois Wesleyan, they're going to take the 2-0 lead here. Just under 11 minutes left to go in the quarter. Fountain, goal number 14 on the year. So the freshman making her impact felt as she now ties the team lead is one short of the team lead in goals with 14. Would have tied it coming into today, but Mia Fiandaka was at the top with 14. She now has 15 after the first goal.
And this is not the start you're looking for if you're Coach Fran Scott and the Cougars giving up 2 early goals, but this is exactly how this Illinois Wesleyan team is coming in. We talked about it in the pregame, but they're a hungry team.
Well, and defense has been something of a struggle for this Cougars team until they held Augustana to just 8 goals. In their first 2 games on the season, St. Mary's the opening day here at CUC, and then Franklin College on March 8th. The Cougars let up 15 against St. Mary's and then 17 at Franklin. So some high-scoring efforts against this Cougars defense, and you're hoping that after they let up just 8 against Augustana, the defense kind of uses that momentum to start holding these teams to less and less goals. Cougars, they're struggling to just get it out of their own end right now. Sarah Gleason picks it back up, takes it into the offensive zone, guarded closely by Sarah Ludwig, the graduate student.
And this man defense from Concordia is applying a lot of pressure right now. Just allowed a couple to just go through the net, but they're playing relentless defense right now.
Hansen to the middle, and that one right into the stick of McGee. Barely had to move that stick from its stick-high position as Hansen delivered it right into the basket. And now Riley Ornstein showing off the speed as she takes it up the near sideline. She's got an open lane to the goal. She's going to keep going. Now she's going to look for the pass. Dishes it across. Kate Johnson isn't able to reel it in. It's going to roll to the far sideline for Hansen to pick up. She does, pursued closely by Bryn Beto. Now the ball back on the ground. Iwu with possession. Now it's picked up by the Cougars. There's Piotrowski coming off a career-high 5 goals Saturday. Orenstein. No settled defense. Orenstein's going to get a shot off. Stick side high save there by Reimerchek.
You got to give credit to the Cougars. They're getting the ball in the hands of Orenstein early. She's been showing off the speed all day so far.
I mentioned earlier, Orenstein not quite on the pace she was last year. Here's a breakaway for Iwu. Saved by McGee. Getting a piece of it with her leg. She scoops up the rebound. And now an outlet pass to Piotrowski's going to send the Cougars the other way. Well, both goalies doing their best right now. 2 saves apiece. Reimerchek hasn't allowed a goal yet. Meanwhile, McGee's let up the 2 to Illinois Wesleyan. As the Cougars are going to look to slow things down offensively after the mad scramble just a minute ago.
And that's probably a smart approach considering everything that's happened so far in the first quarter. You want to slow things down, get everybody in a rhythm early.
Ball down, scooped up by Chloe Shafsma. Shafsma scored her first career goal right here in Concordia Stadium, opening day against St. Mary's this season. Since then, she's also added 2 assists for 3 total points on the years. Iwu, they're going to go on the offensive. Odd man rush, 4-on-3. Carrying it down the wing is DiGiovanni as they move it through X now. Top middle. Middle shot there from Mia Fandak, excuse me. Not sure if McGee got a piece of it. Now stick handling through the defense was Gleason. Ball moved through X again. Ella Herbig goes to work defensively, able to pop her target out. Now pass here. Great hands to catch it by Fiandak. Now McGee makes another save. So Iwu putting the Cougars keeper to work early here. And besides the 2 she's let in, she's done a good job of fending them off, as now Gleason's going to work her way in, hands it off, bottom wing for Maldonado. Ball rolls up top. And right there to try to grab it's Orenstein. She can't cross the line, however, as Fiandak picks it up. And an errant pass there goes out of bounds. So Cougars will take possession here. And Parker, after you let up 2 goals in the first 5 minutes, it's good to see that from your defense. A long defensive stand. Got a couple shots off. McGee did what she needed to do. And I was going to come out of this possession with nothing.
Yeah, that's a great response after letting up the 2 early goals, being stagnant on defense and forcing a couple missed shots from Illinois Wesleyan. Ryan McGee getting a couple saves in there. Great response by the Cougars.
Chloe Shafsman now works around the double team as she moves her way over the 50, passes it back, trying to scoop it up is Orenstein. She can't. Instead, there is Hannah Trousdale. Pass up to Maldonado. It's a 2-on-5 for Iwu, as now they have some trailers coming in. Maldonado's just going to take it all the way back into the corner. Pass to the middle, no one there. Jessica Parker scoops up the loose ball. And she now tries to split the defense. Whistle blown on the Titans. So Parker will get possession here. 3 green bodies around her. She'll pass back to Herbig. Herbig isn't able to get that pass to Parker. Whistle blown again. Violation once again against Iwu. Parker, we've seen passes from both teams, really. Iwu, to a lesser extent, just haven't been as crisp as these coaches would want them to be, especially on the transition game. A lot of pretty nasty clears going on here. So that's something that I'm sure Coach Scott for CUC as well as Coach Kelly for Iowa are going to want to see cleaned up throughout this game.
Yeah, and it's definitely not the way that you want to start out the quarter. Both coaches, you're right, will be looking to clean that up as the game progresses.
Whistle blown. Looks like given the card is Sarah Gleason. She's going to have to take a seat in the box now. So Cougars are going to go on the advantage here. Looking to get their first goal of the game under 5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Nayas with the ball, moves it down. Piotrowski, leading goal scorer on this Cougar squad. It gets stripped by the defender, Kelly Carlson, and now here comes Iwu. They look to push. I'm going to take it all the way into the bottom corner is DiGiovanni as she moves it now. Iwu's going to look to kill some clock here. Hansen squares up with Shasma, instead decides to bounce it out to Fountain. Fountain with a goal on the day. That was the second goal of Iwu's too. And a bottom wing for DiGiovanni. Ball passed up top. Here's Fountain. Looks for the cutters inside. Doesn't see anything she likes, so puts it up top with DiGiovanni. Hansen finds a cutter wrapping around the net. It's Carlin Bratt. She got bounced out by the Cougars D, working it back on the wing now. Good perimeter movement here from Iwu. As now she takes a cut to this inside and in the back of the net. There's Sarah Gleason with the cut around the corner. Put it low on McGee. And so with 3:28, Iwu's going to take a 3-0 lead here. And Parker, you got to think at some point this Cougars defense is just going to get tired. They've been playing a lot of defense so far in this game. You see the offense for CUC trying to slow things down, but credit Iwu, whenever they do get that ball, they are sprinting down to the Cougar zone. They're sending bodies off ball. This Cougars defense just looks like worn out right now.
Yeah, and that's going to be pretty typical. Offense is usually the time that the team rests. Whenever they're on offense, that's the time to rest. So far, the Cougars haven't been able to have that much time to rest on the offensive side of the ball. Most of the time they've been playing, it's been on defense. So, of course, they're going to get worn out. And Illinois Wesleyan already up 3-0. It's not even the second quarter yet.
Well, not only that, it's got to be disheartening for Coach Scott to see her offense struggle again. That game on Saturday against Augustana, their best offensive game yet this season, and now it seems the struggles have returned as Ornstein gets put on the ground after the draw. Piotrowski trying to pick it up. Some physicality being shown off here by both teams, especially Carly Fountain. And now Iwu comes away with it. They're going to try and move upfield. Cougars falling in defensively. And good read there by Sarah Ludwig. Looking like a defensive back from the football team as she picks off that pass. Now tries to take it up. She gets pushed out of bounds, but not a legal push from Iwu. So Cougars get the ball back again.
And going back to that interception by Ludwig, it was a really nice break on the ball. She just used her athleticism to intercept the pass and sprint down the sideline.
Ludwig, a graduate student, was a fifth-year student here at CUC last year, graduated, and then just in the past week or so decided to rejoin the team as a grad student. So Coach Scott mentioned her in this previous edition of Coaches Weekly. Just the energy she brings defensively, making plays like that. Hopefully it's going to help the Cougars out big time. As now Shaftsma is trying to get something going offensively. Ornstein sends it to the middle. There's Pietrowski. Body on her. Back out to Ornstein. Ornstein tries to cut to the middle. She's going to try again here. Ball gets stripped. Whistle blown, though.
It's just been a very stingy Titans defense, not allowing the Cougars to have really any flow of offense, find any holes within the defense. They've just been stagnant.
Free possession shot here for Ornstein. She got saved on her first one. The second one, it sails. Iowa defender might have gotten something on it, on her stick during the shot. Cougars, they maintain possession. So Ornstein 0-2 on the free possession as this ball is passed out of bounds. It is ruled a pass, which is a turnover for CUC.
They're just trying to get Ornstein going, just having a little bit of trouble here in the first quarter.
Coming into today, 4 free possession shots for Ornstein through the first 3 games of the season. She only converted on 1 of them. She's tied for second in the team in most free possessions with Pietrowski. Both of them trail Parker, who has 8 free possession shots on the year. She's converted on 2 of those. So Iowa with control. Less than 50 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Concordia Stadium. Cougars and Titans. Iowa currently up on CUC 3-0. Looking to add a late one here in the first. Take a commanding 4-0 lead into the second quarter. As I'm making a run towards the net is Trousdale. Has to bounce out. That ball takes a bad bounce off the ground. Giovanni has to recollect. Back to Trousdale. Trousdale approaches the net, pulls out, moves it to Fiandak. Less than 10 seconds to go. Iwu needs to get a shot off. That one takes a bounce off the head of the Giovanni. McGee scoops up the loose ball. As the buzzer sounds, that'll do it for the first 15 here in River Forest. The Cougars, they're trailing the visiting Titans by 3-0. So we're going to take a break here in the booth just as the teams head to the sideline for a minute, and we'll be back in just a bit for second quarter action between the Cougars and the Titans. Reminder all Cougar fans out there that you can find all things related to CUC Women's Lacrosse on our website, CU Cougars. All you got to do is go there, look under the sports tab, and you can find information about every team here on campus, including roster, stats, schedules, and more. Once again, that is our website, cucougars.com. Well, less than 10 seconds to go here in the break. Cougars trail the Titans 3-0 after that first quarter. Parker, and the struggle really seems to be here offensively for the Cougars. 3 goals in the quarter. That's not bad for a defense. It's a perfectly manageable number, and you have to imagine the way this Cougars defense is playing, it would be even less than 3 if this offense can get some production going. Is there anything that you've been seeing that, maybe is the reason this offense is really struggling to just put anything together right now?
Well, we already talked about it, but the Cougars look very tired on defense, and that's because they have very short possessions on offense. Right now, the Cougars just need to find some sort of flow on offense, find some holes to attack, and have longer possessions so they're not as tired on the defensive end.
Well, we'll see what Coach Scott did with the whiteboard in between the first and second quarter, as quarter number 2 is about to start here. Draw between Beto and Hansen. The ball is up. Let's see. Still on the ground, whistle blown. That's going to go the way of CUC. Orenstein now with the ball. Neyes takes it on the far wing to Beto behind GLE. Right wing now back to Neyes. Orenstein pressured heavily by Hansen. She turns the corner. She's making a rush in now. Gets a shot off. It's over the net. Iwu wins the run out, so they'll take possession here. Both Jenny Hubbard as well as Lizzie Reimercheck, the goalie, were closest to that ball on the end line.
And that was a really impressive defensive possession right there from Illinois Wesleyan. Riley Orenstein is very dynamic with the ball in her hands, struggled a little bit in that first quarter, and with that shot right there, they're got to credit the Titans. They're playing excellent defense right now.
Reimercheck in trouble here, being pressured heavily by the Cougars. She finally moves it. They got to move it upfield quickly here, and they finally do. And now all the way down, just like that, in the blink of an eye, Iwu on the offensive. Parker, that's a really look at how dangerous they can be as Hansen moves to the middle, shot, and scores. Devin Hansen adds goal number 4 on the day for Iwu. And Parker, I was just saying, that's what's so dangerous about this Iwu team. In probably less than 10 or so seconds, they went from their goalie being triple teamed and in danger to the ball all the way on the other side of the field in the back of the net for the Titans. This is a fast Titans team. This is an athletic Titans team who's been pushing tempo all game long, and the Cougars aren't doing much right now to respond to it.
Yeah, and in the blink of the eye, Titans took it from one end of the field to the other and scored exactly like that. As you mentioned, this team has a lot of speed, have a lot of experience, and most importantly, this Cougars defense is exhausted. There wasn't much that they could do on that possession.
Draw here once again. Orenstein going up against Fiandaka. That's 17 in green. Moves it to DiGiovanni. Ball at X. Cutter Hansen really didn't have anything on that one as she sent that one over the backing nets as well. Managed to hit the fence before going onto the Vision Street. And now Fiandaka hands it back off to Hansen. She gets whacked in the face. The defensive stick. So an excellent chance here for Hansen to add on to the Iwu lead. She already has a goal on the game, just scored that a couple minutes ago. 2 assists for 3 points. She looks for goal number 2. McGee catches it with her left shoulder. Stands tall for the Cougars. Save number 5 on the day for the senior keep. And now the Cougars are going to have a chance to go the other way here.
And when your defense is struggling, you need your veteran players to step up, and Ryan McGee did just that on that possession.
McGee, reigning defensive player of the week in the Northern Athletics Collegiate Conference after her 16-save effort against Augustana. 16 saves on 24 shots faced. She's going to look for a repeat effort here against Iwu, as she's already at 5 saves now. Iwu able to scoop up the ground ball. Hansen to the inside, not able to corral it, was Maldonado. Over Iwu, they're back in possession. The possession stats wildly in favor of Illinois Wesleyan right now. As not only do they have the ball a lot, they're taking their time with it on offense, Parker. They're looking for that one good luck. This is not a team who's going to rush anything. They're quick, they're athletic, they can strike in a blink of an eye, but when they're on settled offense, they're really looking for that best look.
Yeah, and that's one of the attributes that comes with a veteran team. They know when is the right time to score. They can score quick, or they know how to be patient, and that's a really great quality to have as a team.
Maldonado now with a free possession. Going to try and add on. She moves in. That goal is in the top right corner. And the Cougars down by 5 now. 11:26 remaining in the second quarter. And Parker, in a quarter where this Cougars offense really needed to show some growth after that first quarter, where they really didn't muster up anything. We've barely seen them. They had a possession early in the quarter, but since then it's been all Titans. They've scored 2 goals out of it. Hansen had one, and now Maldonado gets one on the free possession shot. Cougars, even though we still have well over a half of lacrosse to play, this feels like one of those turning points where the Cougars need to either turn it on now, or this game is just going to get increasingly more and more out of hand.
And it's really the clash of two mindsets. Cougars came off of a win last week, that exciting, thrilling overtime victory, and they kind of overlooked this Illinois Wesleyan team considering their record. The Titans came in hungry, and right now they've hit Concordia in the mouth, and the Cougars have yet to respond.
10 shots on goal from Illinois Wesleyan, as there's another one and another goal. Maldonado once again strikes just like that and gets that lead up to 6, and that's going to force a timeout by Coach Scott and the Cougars. So 11:09 left to go here in the second quarter. Cougars, they trail the Titans 6-0. Timeout by CUC. We're going to take a timeout here on the Cougar Sports Network as well and be back in just a second. Cougars break up the huddle. They head back to their positions. Iwu still talking it over. They're currently up big on the Cougars, 6-0. Some of the top statistics: Iwu 15 shots total, 11 on goal. Meanwhile, the Cougars are at just 4-2 in those respective categories. Draw controls are big in favor of Illinois Wesleyan, 6-1. Meanwhile, turnovers and caused turnovers are about neck and neck. Turnovers in favor of the Cougars, caused turnovers in favor of Illinois Wesleyan.
And really what the Cougars have to do, you mentioned 15 shots compared to only 4, and right now Riley Ornstein is the only one taking shots. The Cougars have to get more players involved, kind of have to match that number that Iwu currently has.
Well, and it starts here at the draw. Jessica Parker now will take it for the Cougars. The draw control has been a bit of a worrisome spot for this CUC team. On the season, they've won 27 while losing 46, almost doubled up in the category. And again, big reason for that is the loss of Emily Cyrus from last season. She took a majority of the draws for the Cougars. And just like this offense is learning to function without the Cyrus sisters, the draw team now has to work to function without their leading draw player from last season. As Illinois Wesleyan, they're going to strike one more time as Devin Hansen gets another one in her goal total on the day. Her second on the day.
Right now, the Titans are just trying to put the Cougars away. Coach Scott just took a timeout, and right out of the timeout, Illinois Wesleyan responds with another goal. They're now up 7-0.
Devin Hansen, goal number 15 on the year for number 11 in green. And the Cougars find themselves in a 7-goal hole now. 10:46 left to go in the first half. Draw here between Parker and Fountain. Cougars, they take control of it. Now Pietrowski with some speed. The graduate student played soccer at St. Francis, moved to the Lacrosse field here during her time at CUC and has looked good doing it. Made an all-NAC team last year, leads the team in goals this year. Now Jessica Parker surveys the field, bringing it all the way up top. She's going to hit Sarah Ludwig, who moves it down to Kate Johnson. Jessica Parker fakes inside, takes a stab at her defender, and she drops the ball when she popped out. Illinois Wesleyan coming away with it. Kelly Carlson finally pulls it up. And now she sails this pass over the head of Sarah Ripey. So Cougars, after that turnover by Parker, they're luckily going to get another shot at things here after that errant pass.
And this is exactly what the Cougars need to do. They need to find some sort of flow on offense, kind of lengthen that time of possession so they're not as tired on the defensive end.
Kelly Pietrowski catches the ball after it bounces on the turf. Parker, a lofted pass. Shaftsma went up to grab it. Tries to feed it to the middle, and that falls right into the stick of Kelly Carlson, the senior defenseman from Western Springs. And she's playing some good defense for her team right now. It's moved up now in the stick of Hubbard. Maldonado drops that pass, able to scoop it up. She's going to take a cut into the goal. A pass here disrupted by Kelly Sala. And now there's her twin, Lauren Sala, with the ball. Running back and forth, trying to find some open space upfield before moving it to Ludwig, who moves it to Shaftsma. Shaftsma bobbles the ball, and pit-pocketing her is Trousdale. It's coming the other way is DeGiovanni. DeGiovanni, the freshman out of Lockport, Illinois. A cut right to the middle of the net, and that one is in. Sneaking it inside the right pipe is Carly Fountain. Good stick control there by Fountain as she brought that stick up vertically and able to sneak it past the right-handed McGee. And now Illinois Wesleyan up by 8. And Parker, it's interesting that first quarter, the Cougars, they struggled offensively mainly. They were able to hold IWU down to just 3 goals, which is a good number in the world of lacrosse. You hold your opponent to just 3 goals in a quarter. But we're not even halfway through this second quarter, and IWU scored 5 already in it for this 8-goal lead. I mean, we've kind of alluded to it a couple times, but things are going to get out of hand for the Cougars really soon. I mean, they mostly are already out of hand if they don't find something here quick defensively or offensively.
Yeah, and it's definitely not a good trend to let up 5 goals this early. And at this rate, it's going to be a very bad game for the Cougars if they don't find a solution now. They have to be better on the defensive end.
Again, a reminder, we have basically 2.5 quarters of lacrosse to play left. We're just approaching the halfway mark of quarter number 2. IWU up by 8 as the CUC offense continues to try and figure something out. Kelly Pietrowski tries to cut inside. She's bounced around by some defenders. So now Kate Johnson handles it behind the net. Bryn Beto picks it up. Beto, that double overtime game winner. She feeds it to the middle, knocked it down by the stick of Jenny Hubbard. And IWU, they're going to move it back before trying to move it up. Hubbard. Now on the rush, here's Carlson. Maldonado. Feed inside over the head of her target, as well as Lauren Sala. Now Pietrowski moves it the other way for CUC over midfield. Takes it to the outside as she starts to cut back in. She's looking towards the middle. You can tell she's looking for that pass. Instead, she's going to carry it all the way to X. Puts the brakes on her defender, trying to find some room to operate. Curls around the net. Wraparound attempt is outside. Kelly Pietrowski with maybe the best look of the day for CUC so far, and it was all individual effort as this pass is going to keep on rolling. Chloe Shaftsma, great effort there to save the ball. Cougars barely managed to avoid the turnover as they're back on the attack.
Got to give credit to Kelly Pietrowski on that last one. Showing off the moves and the jukes on that one. A great look from her, just not able to connect.
And it's not a look we've seen from the Cougars a lot, is that look from behind the net. They've been initiating a lot of stuff from up top, but maybe that look from Pietrowski, which again was probably the best look CUC's had all day besides Orenstein's free possession shots, as now getting the free possession is Parker. She's just going to pass this one to Kate Johnson, and that one passed in front of the net. Miracle no one got a stick on it. Sarah Ludwig now to Kate Johnson. Pietrowski. Parker moves it back to Pietrowski. Cutting towards the net is Beto. That pass knocked it down, though. Pietrowski back at X. Chloe Shaftsma, shot clock at 1. Cougars need to get the shot off, and Shaftsma just hurls that one. It's nowhere near target, so shot clock violation on CUC, and I was going to be moving the other way.
The Cougars have only had 6 shot attempts on the afternoon so far. They have to continue to up that number. They've done a better job of prolonging those offensive possessions. Now they just have to get some better looks.
But Parker, you do have to look on the positive side. That was a shot clock violation for the Cougars, which you want to avoid, but it at least means they had the ball in their possession for a very long time. Yes, you'd like to see some more shots and more goals come out of it, but it at least gave their defense a chance to breathe, catch their breath a little bit, and hopefully be able to play it up to the standard they know they're capable of now that the offense has taken some of the pressure off. Sarah Ludwig pulls back on Hanson as she slows things down. Cougars get their personnel figured out in the right spots. Coach Scott yelling instructions from the sideline. That ball knocked down. Shaftsmo struggling to scoop it up, barely saves it from going out of bounds, and now she's going to move it to Beto to Parker. Parker, that pass to no one. I think it was just a errant pass intended for Beto as Parker gets possession again. Now she's going to cut inside. Shot by Parker. Save there. A close save for Lizzie Reimercheck. And Cougars starting to get some looks going here after Pietrowski's wraparound, and now Parker. However, the possession is going to go in favor of IWU.
Cougars are starting to get more shots, starting to get some better looks on offense. That was a great save by Lizzie Reimercheck right there.
Ball goes out of bounds. Carlson can't save it, so Kate Johnson comes over and picks it up. Johnson moves it to Neyes. Top middle to Shaftsma. Scoring has slowed down immensely for Iwu, largely because they just haven't had possession offensively in a very long time. And, sometimes they say the best defense is a good offense. Speaking of, Riley Ornstein to the middle of the net, right into the stick of Reimercheck. You can see Ornstein show some frustration there as she had all the moves to get inside. Just a poorly placed shot. I don't think Reimercheck even really had to move for that one. Well, Iwu now first possession, what feels like forever offensively. And it ends in a goal. This offense showing no rust after that ball spent time on the right side of the field for so long. Sarah Gleason, senior attack out of Park Ridge, finds the back of the net.
Peter, it didn't even seem like the Titans had the ball that long before they scored. They have the ability to score lightning fast.
Well, and it's the efficiency of this team as well. 9 goals on 14 shots on goal. McGee's only been able to make 5 saves, and that's largely part to these are good looks too. These aren't far shots that they're just throwing at the net. These are looks to the inside. They're almost right in front of the net for all of these shots. Not much McGee can do about it. Not much any goalie could do about it. So you want to talk about efficiency. This Iowa team is the definition of it right now.
And if you were a spectator who doesn't know anything about these two teams, you wouldn't think that Iowa is currently 2-6. They look like a team that could be potentially 8-0. They're playing really efficient all afternoon.
Back on the offensive are the Titans. Going 1v1 against her defender, and now moving it to the middle, and Ryan McGee makes the save there. She's about to get scored on for the 7th time at this quarter, as we have less than 2.5 minutes remaining in the first half before teams head to the locker room. And I think the strategy for the Cougars here, Parker, is really, and as obvious as this may sound, is don't allow any more goals and try to get 1 or 2. Obviously, you're not going to tie this game or come even that close by the end of this half, but you don't want to make this 9-goal lead any more worse heading in the locker room. Keep it where it is. Show some signs of improvement, which they already have offensively, and be able to talk things through in the locker room.
And honestly, if you can hold this Titans team to 0 goals until halftime, that's a win.
Well, with 1:50 remaining, Iowa will have possession again. It's about a 20 or so difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Is that point is moot right now as CUC gains possession. About a 7-second difference now between game clock and shot clock. So Cougars, they can really run this thing down to about the end of the half, which, as much as they want to score, might be the better option here. Is every time Iwu seems to be in the offensive zone, they found the back of the net. They're going to have another chance here. Right B carries it down. Still carrying it down. On her back is Ella Herbig, the freshman. Now pass in front of the goal. That ball is dropped, I believe. I don't think that was a shot on goal. But the whistle is blown, so free possession coming up here for Carlin Bratt, senior attackman. And on her shot, bounces it past McGee. Carlin Bratt gives Iwu goal number 10. And now a double-digit lead means running clock in the game. Any 10-plus goal lead means a running clock. So the Cougars set up for the draw. They're going to have probably around 25, almost 20 or less seconds the way the clock's running to get at least something here before the end of the half.
And really, that would be the main response you need. You need a goal right here. if you're the Cougars.
Whistle is blown. Cougars get possession. Clock still running. 15 seconds left. Jessica Parker turns on the afterburner. She's running down on the out-of-bounds line. Hasn't stepped out yet as Hanson's doing her best to push her out. Passes it. Neas 3 seconds. 2 and 1. And the buzzer sounds. So that'll do it for half number 1. Illinois Wesleyan comes into River Forest and absolutely puts it to the Cougars. 10 goals in the first half, 0 allowed. IWU's going to take the 10-0 lead into the second half. Cougars, they're going to need some big-time halftime adjustments from Coach Scott as well as the graduate assistant Maggie Torres if they're going to want to get back in this one. They're going to have 30 minutes to do it when we get back from the halftime break here on the Cougar Sports Network. IWU up on CUC 10-0. Back here in River Forest, halftime about to wrap up. A shortened halftime at the request of the referee. So we're about to get started here in half number 2. It's been all Illinois Wesleyan through the first 30, up 10-0 on the Cougars. We look at some of the statistics. Leading goal scorers for IWU is a trio of Hanson, Fountain, and Gleason as they have a pair of goals each. Hanson has 6 shots to lead all players. Meanwhile, for the Cougars, still looking for that first goal scorer on the day. Orenstein with 5 shots, and Shaftsma, Parker, and Pietrowski all have 1. Ryan McGee. 10 goals allowed, 6 saves. Reimercheck, 4 saves, no goals allowed. Parker, it's been all IWU. Now, I think one of the positives you have to look at, though, is that second quarter, even though they didn't put a goal up on the board, looked a lot better offensively for the Cougars. There was a long stretch of play where they were getting good looks. They were running down the clock, giving their defense, a chance to breathe. So hopefully Coach Fran took that during halftime, and they're going to be able to build off of that going into this third quarter.
I'd say there were definitely some positive and negatives in that second quarter. The positives were offense looked a lot better. They were holding the ball for a longer period of time, something they didn't do in the first quarter. However, that defense was pretty atrocious after letting up 7 goals compared to only 3 goals in the first quarter. The Cougars have to be able to clean it up on defense and get some better looks in offense if they want to make this more of a tightly contested contest in this half.
Cougars assume their positions on the field. Jess Parker will be taking the draw for CUC. Draw controls, once again, presenting a problem for the Cougars. 8 in favor of Illinois Wesleyan. Meanwhile, only 4 for the Cougars. And we do have a goalie change here for the Titans. The last name is the same, but instead of Lizzie Reimercheck, it will be Rebecca Reimercheck, a senior out of Lake Zurich, Illinois. On the season, Rebecca Reimercheck, 5 games played, just over 81 minutes, 25 goals allowed, 14 saves for an 18.5 goals allowed on average and a .359 save percentage. So Rebecca, Reimercheck gets the start. He gets the start in the second half. Ryan McGee still in net for the Cougars. 6 saves on 16 shots faced. And now Parker goes at the draw control against Fountain, and not much has changed as IWU gets possession right off the draw, and they're on the way down offensively.
You can't allow the Titans to get off to a fast start. Hold your ground on defense so that the Titans do not get an 11th goal early.
Whistle blown. I think they're trying to figure out the shot clock wasn't running correctly. So starting with possession on the bottom left wing below GLE is IWU. Hansen now 4 points on the day, leads all players. Is tied with Maldonado for that point lead, as Ornstein almost picks it off. However, able to recover is DiGiovanni. Whistle blown. Again, 10-goal lead means a running clock in the game. So until the Cougars can pull within 10, make that a single-digit lead, once again, single-digit deficit, I guess, for CUC, that clock's just going to keep on ticking until the end of the game. Or timeout to stop the clock as well. Here's Hansen now. Goes up against Lauren Sala, 5'10 senior out of Western Springs. And big collision there. Brittany Maldonado as well as Riley Ornstein. So free possession here for Maldonado. Going to go for the hat trick. She's already got 2. She's going to put that one on net. McGee makes the initial save. Another chance by Maldonado, and somehow it doesn't end up in the back of the net. Not sure if McGee got a piece of that second attempt. She got her left shoulder on the first shot, was way out of position. Maldonado caught the rebound, and again, miraculously, the ball did not cross the goal line.
And that was a great couple of saves right there from McGee. Her team really needs her to step up, and that was a really excellent possession right there.
That second one is a save attributed to McGee, so 2 straight saves from McGee. Brings her up to 8 saves on the day. IWU now going to slow things down after that flurry of attack by Maldonado. From behind X, they work. And that was Gleason trying to feed Fiandaca. Gleason now looks in the same spot. Instead, it's just going to keep carrying up. Now she finds a streaking Fountain, and she's going to finish on that one. Carly Fountain gets the hat trick on the day. Goal number 3.
And the Titans have just been a terror all afternoon. Carly Fountain having an excellent performance. 3 goals on the day. Can't ask for a much better performance from her.
11-0 Iwu. We're approaching 11 and a half minutes remaining in the third quarter. Parker, coming out of the halftime break, you were hoping the Cougars would come out a little bit of a fire lit under them. You're down by 10 on your home field against a 2-6 Illinois Wesleyan team. You still have to respect them, but again, that record doesn't look great, especially coming off their 3 straight losses, their worst loss in almost a year. And the Cougars, they've just come out flat here in the second half as another draw control for Iwu. Hansen hands it off. Fiandaca takes it inside. And turning bouncer. I don't even know what to call that one. Some creativity shown off by Sarah Gleason. Caught that one with her back to McGee, then spun around, bounced it low. Wasn't exactly a behind the back, but Gleason breaking out the bag of tricks to get goal number 12 on the day for Iwu, and that's a hat trick for Sarah Gleason as well.
And I think it's fair to say that shot had a little bit of luck in there too, but nonetheless, great shot by her.
You could tell a couple times Iwu's game plan is they've been shooting low on McGee. Must have seen something in the scouting report saying that's the place to shoot, as quite a number of their goals have been hip and lower on number 63 in net for the Cougars. But at a certain point, when you're so close to the net, Parker, it doesn't really matter how you shoot it. It's almost impossible for the goalie to save it.
Right, and there wasn't much that McGee could do on that one. I mean, really close to goal, like you just said. It's going to be really hard to stop.
Especially considering Gleason wasn't even facing McGee when she started to initiate the shot. As now here goes Hansen, and that one hits McGee. Sarah Gleason went up for the catch and then came down and tried to put it low. I think it bounced into McGee's shin guards. As now this pass is going to roll away from DiGiovanni, able to scoop it up. 40 left to go on the shot clock. 9 minutes left to go in the third quarter. As here's DiGiovanni. Carlin Bratt now works behind X. She gets pushed out by Kate Johnson. Good defense there by number 25 in white. Orenstein picks up the GB and is off to the races now. Hansen in hot pursuit is about neck and neck with Orenstein. Orenstein, she's just going to try and take this one all the way. She passes it to Beto. Hansen and Orenstein, a big collision. Both players still on the ground, get helped up by their teammates. As both of them now back on their feet. And Orenstein's going to take a squat. It's a yellow card given out.
And if you're the Cougars, this isn't something that you want to see. Orenstein has been the player that's been very dynamic with the ball in her hands this afternoon, and seeing her come up a little bit gimpy, definitely not something you want to see.
Well, she will take a free possession here. She's still taking a minute to readjust herself. Again, you might not think of it considering how especially compared to the men's game. Women's obviously aren't hitting as hard. They're not slapping, using slap checks and slashing their sticks at each other. But it's still a very physical game as, these players, most of them are not even wearing helmets. They wear the goggles, and you see some helmets like Sarah Ludwig currently wearing one, but there is not much protection on these players. So when they go down, they usually go down hard. As Ornstein, the free possession shot, not sure if Reimercheck got a piece of it. However, it doesn't end up in the goal. I believe she did, the way that ball took a weird bounce, and now scooping up is Fiandaka. And now Iwu off to the races. 12-0. Now this ball will roll to Neas. Another collision there. And Ornstein on the ground again. She's getting about all the physicality you could ask for in the last couple minutes, as she's going to check out now. Get a much needed breather on the bench.
And she's been playing her heart out all afternoon. You got to give credit to Ornstein.
So with one of their top offensive threats off the field, the Cougars now got to play some defense. Fiandaka goes up against Kelly Sala. Now ball to DiGiovanni. Here's Trousdale. Sarah Gleason. Ball back to Gleason. Gleason now surveying upfield. High pressure there by Herbig. Now to the middle. Trying to take a cut inside is Mallory Mills. That ball slapped away by Shafsma. Good turnover there. Forced by the senior. And now she's turning on the turbo jets to get it downfield. She loses it, however, is able to scoop it up. She's got 3 green jerseys surrounding her. Here's Jess Parker now. Parker moves inside. She's going to take this one behind the net, guarded by Hansen. Now Hansen goes to work on Parker. Shaftsman, not a clean catch, able to scoop up the GB, though. Neas, Pietrowski. Excuse me, that's Kelly Sala, I believe. Not used to seeing her on the offensive side of things. Kelly Sala listed as a midi, though she plays a lot of defense, as does her twin, number 23, Lauren Sala. Whistle blown. The referee offers an explanation to the players and coaches on the field before Iwu assumes possession. Herbig trying to push her target. That's Maldonado out. Hands it off. Fiandaka. That ball knocked aside, and McGee looked to get a piece of it. As here goes Maldonado now against Herbig to the middle. Fiandaka pulled it down, draws a whistle. So Fiandaka with the free possession shot coming up.
And the Cougars have remained stingy on this defensive possession. It's exactly what you want to see. They're taking steps in the right direction.
Fiandaka, the shot, goal.
And, of course, as I say that,
a costly mistake for the Cougars results in the free possession and the goal for Fiandaka. And that lead now extends to 13, 4:20 left to go here in the third quarter. Running clock still on. Fiandaka gets goal number 2 on the day. On the season, the sophomore out of St. Charles, Illinois. has 16 goals. She ties for the team lead in goals with Fountain, who has a hat trick on the day. So Fiandaca has 16 with her 2. Fountain has 16 with her 3. And Iwu has 13 with that last goal. Some late substitutions here for Iwu. Ornstein back on the field, a good sign for Coach Fran as well as all the Cougar fans. And Parker, something else about this Cougars team is this is not an extraordinarily deep team either. You look on the sideline, there's just one dressed player. So this is a team who can't afford to get beat up, can't afford many injuries because they just don't have the depth to really replenish that.
Right, and that's why it was such a scary thing that Ornstein went down. Not only is she one of the best offensive players, but, I mean, you mentioned it. They don't have a lot of depth, and they can't afford to have many injuries.
Well, and that one sub they currently have really is due to Cyril Ludwig rejoining the team, which has only been a recent development for a lot of the season so far. They've been playing with just 10 dressed players and no substitutions, which is an extraordinarily hard thing to do. And now they're taking a beating against a physical Iwu team here, as here's Gleason. Going to pull it out below GLE. Hits Maldonado at X. Maldonado tries to feed a cutting Fountain who gets pushed to the ground. It's a no-no for CUC. That should be a free possession coming up here for Carly Fountain. Already has 3 goals on the day. So see what she can do here. She's going to go for goal number 4. She's going to pass it off. She waits for the whistle, gets it. Fountain in, takes a shot, bounces it a little too early as it goes over the net. No whistle blown, which means we're going to do the free possession again. So Fountain gets a redo. Chance to make up for that missed bouncer. Moves in. And that one, I think a CUC defender got a piece of it. And now a bad shot there from Trousdale over the net. Luckily there's a backer. And now another shot. McGee gets a piece of it. Ball still loose. And Sarah Ludwig playing a little bit of hockey with the ball. Moves it. Rolls all the way to Nayas, who's now just surrounded by Iwu players, so she's going to be able to use her speed to get out of trouble. Pursued closely by Fountain. Nayas works around her. Now we'll look to slow things down. Bryn Beto. Chloe Schafsma. Jessica Parker now looks inside, sends a floater up. Brent Beto catches it, puts a shot on. It's over the net. She gets knocked to the ground. 50 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. Running clock still. And now Brent Beto with the free possession coming up. Good chance for the Cougars to get goal number 4. Brent Beto finishes. Goal for the Cougars. Less than 30 seconds left to go here in the third, and the Cougars finally find the back of the net.
And that was only Beto's second shot of the day, and she gets her first goal of the game for the Cougars.
Well, on the season, Beto with 1 goal. That was that game winner at Augustana this past Saturday. As the running clock hits 0 in the third quarter, the teams are going to bring it up as they get ready for the final 15 in today's non-conference matchup. It's been all Titans here at Concordia Stadium, up big on the Cougars 13-1. We'll take a break just like the teams will and be back in just a minute for fourth quarter action. Don't go anywhere on the Cougar Sports Network. Back here on the campus of CUC. Cougars trailing the Titans big 13-1. And Parker, a comeback seems unlikely at this point. Cougars going to need to have a big quarter offensively, which is the biggest area they've been struggling today, arguably. So with that notwithstanding, what are the Cougars really looking for in this fourth quarter that you can come out of the game being happy with how you ended it?
Yeah, I'd rule out a comeback at this point. Right now, I would just play for the pride of your school, the pride of your team. Try to step up more on defense, not allow the Titans to get any more goals than they already have. Also try to get a couple goals in there and try to find some things to build off of going into the Cougars' next game.
Well, there's senior keeper for the Cougars, Ryan McGee. 10 saves on the day, 13 goals against. McGee coming off a season-high 16 saves against Augustana this past Saturday, as we have yet another goalie change for Illinois Wesleyan. Simone Shapiro, 5'7" freshman out of Glen Ellen, Illinois, Glenbard West graduate. On the season, Shapiro, 101 minutes, 48 seconds played, and 7 games played. 25 goals against just 4 saves, a 138 save percentage. So Coach Kelly trying to get her freshmen keep some nice looks here in the last quarter of a game that feels like it's been largely decided, Parker. And that's what you got to do with some of these younger players sometimes, is these players who aren't getting as much playing time just due to, their inexperience in the college game. You got to put them in every once in a while to see what they got, get them used to that college speed. And I think that right there might be one of the biggest transition for players, is just the speed of the collegiate game for really whatever sport, but lacrosse especially. It's just so different from high school. So getting those young players any chance they can to really feel what it's like to be in the game, that's just going to help their development.
Yeah, and there's a stark difference between high school and college, and really the best way for freshmen to learn is just throw them in there, get them some experience. The more experience you have, the better it is, obviously.
Well, here's DeGiovanni. She gets pushed to the ground by Kelly Sala. Big size, big mismatch there. Sala at 6 foot. Wow. DeGiovanni just 5'5". And now here comes Carlin Bratt. That ball rolls out of bounds. And the Cougars will get possession. McGee started to go back. Instead, she's going to put the brakes on and let Kelly Sala pick it up out of bounds to bring it in. Sala now drops it when pressured by Maldonado. Right on full effect here. A trail check from Maldonado, picks up the ball. This one passes to the middle, and making a weird stop is Ludwig. Fianaka picked it up for a second before the whistle was blown, and a free possession shot coming up here for Fianaka. 2 goals on the day, looking for the hat trick here. She started to run in, and she's just going to pull it out now. Hansen.
Illinois Wesleyan just trying to drain this clock a little bit.
Now Maldonado comes in, puts the spin maneuver on Shaftsma. She dips that one towards the middle. No one's there for it. And the whistle stops play as we wait to see what the officials judge here. And it'll be another free possession shot. Carly Fountain already with a hat trick on the day. She's going to get a chance for goal number 4. She comes in and said she's just going to pass it off. Fiandaca will finish it. Fountain off the free possession, comes in, feeds it to her sophomore teammate and Mia Fiandaca. And instead of Fountain getting goal number 4, she's going to help Fiandaca get the hat trick on the day. And that lead now stands at 13 once again, 14-1.
The Cougars have just been struggling on the defensive end all afternoon. and you can tell that they look exhausted, and you can tell that not having that depth that we talked about earlier, Peter, is really starting to take a toll on this team.
Hansen at the draw as well as Parker. Draw controls still in favor of Illinois Wesleyan, 11-6. Ball is up. Hansen knocks it down before picking it up off the ground. Hansen now looks to the inside, and that one takes a bounce off the top of Bratt's stick. Maldonado fights for it against the Sala twins. Whistle blown, and given possession is Maldonado. She comes in, goes for the wraparound, and McGee is right there to save it. Goal, save number 11 on the day for McGee. And Parker, while she, no goalie likes to sit below 50% save percentage in the world of lacrosse, McGee's really still having a good day, especially considering what she's been facing. These aren't easy shots to save. A lot of quality chances for Iwu, and McGee still putting up double-digit saves on the day.
Yeah, and that line of defense of the Cougars has been struggling, and really it's been up to McGee to stop the Titans' attack. And so far, for what she's been having to deal with, she has been doing a great job. Recording 11 saves, she's had a pretty decent afternoon.
That ball pops around in the middle, and catching the floater is Jenny Hubbard. And now Iwu moves the other way, far sideline. Avery Setzler now. 3-on-3. Iwu coming into attack. Setzler. She'll slow things down drastically here. Passes off for Bratt. Bratt now. Back up to Fiandaka. And now Iwu initiates some motion with the Giovanni. Back outside to Hansen. Hansen now moves inside. Looking for that pass. Tries to hit the Giovanni, and Riley Ornstein's right there to disrupt it. Ball given to McGee now. She'll start to clear. A long pass right to Jess Parker. She eats a couple plays that draw some whistles and still keeping it alive. Keeping the ball in front of her is Kelly Sala. And now Ornstein with the afterburners on, coming down the field. And she gets stopped in her place by Carlson. Here's Jess Parker to the near side wing with Lauren Sala. Back up to Parker to Chloe Shasma, who drops the ball, able to pick it up immediately. Moves it over to their initiator, and Shasma tries to find Johnson in the middle. She does. Johnson a shot, and it hits Shapiro. Excellent opportunity there for Kate Johnson. Caught the ball, put the brakes on, turned and shot it, and it caught some piece of Shapiro.
And that was a great possession by the Cougars on offense. Kind of looked like the 2015 San Antonio Spurs right there with the ball movement, and really excellent look by Kate Johnson.
Now all the way at the other end, Illinois Wesleyan trying to get another goal, or at least kill some clock, as we have less than half this quarter to go. 7 minutes remain in regulation. Ball still on the ground. Lauren Sala picked it up for a minute before Parker finally comes away from the scrap with it. Weaves her way through the sea of green jerseys. Now gets pursued closely by Julia Raczykowski. Here's Naez, guarded by Carlson. Back to Parker. Back to Kelly Sala. To Bryn Beto, but that pass is knocked down. Ball still loose. Beto struggling to pick it up. Ball being kicked around, and Beto now with it. She uses the screen from Johnson. Beto curls up, turns again, is looking for some kind of outlet as her defender's right on top of her. Beto put it on the net. Right there is Shapiro. Beto took the payment for that one as she was put on the ground following the shot. Now Shapiro for Carlson as they try to clear it upfield. They will here. Gleason looking for goal number 4. Deterred by Becky Colmenares, a new member to the CUC team, sophomore. Now up top, Orenstein takes a hack at it, catches a little bit too much of Fountain. Possession stays with Illinois Wesleyan.
Illinois Wesleyan really trying to drain the clock right here. The Cougars are just trying to stop them from getting their 15th goal of the game.
Whistle blown. The free possession coming up here for number 1, Emma Trousdale. Trousdale seeing if she can add to the scoring party. Instead, she's going to pass it, and a behind-the-back attempt there from Gleason. That one not successful. I believe it hit McGee. Now Coleman Ayers will pick it up, but Gleason pulling out the fancy moves a couple times today. One of them resulted in a goal earlier with that spin-around bouncer, but that behind the back is stuffed by McGee.
Nice possession right there from McGee, able to prevent the Titans' attack.
3.5 left to go here for Illinois Wesleyan. As here's Trousdale. Ball behind the net now. Gleason projected on that BTB just a couple minutes ago. And now up top, Trousdale tried to cut inside and said she's going to bounce it out. Roughly 3 minutes to go here in the game, in regulation at least. As a cutting DeGiovanni just barely missed that pass. It rolls all the way up to the middle third. Bryn Beto picks it up. She's trying to get something started here for this Cougars team that has really struggled besides Beto's free possession goal. And that was just Sarah Ludwig. Weaves in and out of the defense. Now she slows it down. Ball lost, though. Too much contact made by Trousdale and draws the whistle. Ball on the ground, picked up by Raczkowski. Ooh, and Raczkowski took that one to the face. As Kate Johnson catching too much of her with the stick.
This has been a very nitty-gritty game to some extent. Both teams really taking a beating so far.
So Kate Johnson has to take a seat in the sin bin for now. Squat, let's say, is now working with the advantages. Illinois Wesleyan, not that they need one, already up by 13. Here's Gleason. Surveying from behind the net is Maldonado now. She's going to cut up and put it in the back of the net. From behind the net to the back of the net. Number 25 in green gets herself the hat trick. The Cougars now down 14-1. 1:15 left to go in the game. That running clock should take us pretty darn close to 50 or 55 seconds by the time this draw goes off. Possibly even less time. Well, looking ahead a little, the Cougars back in action this Saturday right back here at Concordia Stadium as they welcome the Foresters of Lake Forest College to River Forest. That's a 12 p.m. start time. Coverage can, of course, be found at our website, cucougars.com, and the live stream on our YouTube page, CUC Sports, which now you can become a member of for just $5 a month. That $5 gets you all kinds of cool, exclusive content. All you have to do is go to our page and click the join button. If that's not what you're wanting to do right now, you can still donate to CUC's Athletic Communications Department by clicking the thank video on any button. As Parker hits at least one pipe there, that might have been another ricochet. And Parker, I think that's just a pretty good indication of how things have gone for the Cougars today. As we'll get to that in a minute, the final buzzer sounds, and Illinois Wesleyan, talk about a dominating effort on a 3-loss streak coming off their worst loss in nearly a year's worth of play. 2-6 on the season. They come here, take down the Cougars 15-1. Absolute domination from the Titans, Parker, and it's kind of hard to really say, what area they succeeded in because their offense put up 15 and their defense only allowed 1. So just a great all-around game from this IWU squad.
Yeah, and I said it before earlier in the broadcast, but if you were just coming into this game not knowing much about either team, you would think that this is a much better Illinois Wesleyan team than what their record indicates. Now they're 3-6, but they played a complete game, 15 goals, dominant offensive performance, and only allowing 1 goal. I mean, they just played a complete game.
Meanwhile, for the Cougars, not what you want to see coming off your first win of the year, double overtime thriller at Augustana this past Saturday. You come back to home, your first home game since the season opener on February 26th, and you come in and you just get absolutely dominated by this IWU squad by 14 goals. This is a team who they're going to need a big bounce-back game this coming Saturday against Lake Forest.
And the Cougars were trying to build a little bit of momentum in that fourth quarter, something to kind of build off of going into the game this upcoming Saturday against Lake Forest. They weren't able to create it, but they need a better performance at home against Lake Forest on Saturday.
Well, that Saturday game against the Foresters kicks off at 12 p.m. Coverage once again can be found on our website, CUC Cougars, the live stream right here on the Cougar Sports Network on CUC Sports. But before we sign off here, I want to say thanks to everyone making this broadcast possible as part of the Cougar Sports Network. Amaya Martin down at the table field level, Sydney Lloyd, Janie Turnez working cameras, Julia Beers helping out with the production, then over in the scores booth, Emily Balaban helping out with statting as well as PA. We're under the direction of Claire Hickey, Sydney Placislaher, and Kayla McLeod. Also forgot to mention our photographer, of course, Saba Miller. Can't forget about the man taking the photos you'll see on cucougars.com. But for now, this is Peter Borkowski and Parker Kelly signing off of the Cougar Sports Network. Cougars lose to the Titans 15-1. They'll be back at it this Saturday at 12. But until then, I'm just wanting to say, as always, go Cougars.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's Concordia University Chicago Cougars Athletics broadcast. We hope to see you on campus very soon. If you would like to learn more about what Concordia Chicago has to offer, go to cuchicago.edu.